Ugh. Ugh. All right. Let's talk about True Detective Season 4 finale. And let's go. Excuse me. Welcome to the TV Cast. The show we talk about TV shows, streaming shows, and we don't care about spoiling them. Because this is a spin-off of our real show, the Spoiler Cast. Check it out on the same channel, or same platform, or wherever. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And don't let this be too much of an indication of what I actually think of the finale. Yes, yeah, we'll get into it, but it's a little bit of a stunt. Sorry. I just felt like doing it. Yeah. But yeah, this is our last episode on True Detective Season 4, because this was the finale we watched today, as of recording this, and probably when you're watching this, because we're releasing it the same day, to stay on topic. Au jour.
Yeah, despite what we read last week, apparently they didn't wait till the 26th.
Yeah, which was a good thing.
Yeah, yes.
Now we can get it over with. But, yeah, you kind of know where I am, but let's hear from you, Rebecca. What did you think of the finale, in short? Whatever.
It was, kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a cop-out, but, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just all this build-up for that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And we still have a lot of loose threads, according to me, or in my opinion.
Yeah, this is, of course, like we said, we're talking about the finale, so if you haven't watched it, turn this off.
Yeah, it's part 6.
Because we are going to have to talk, of course, spoiler details. So if you're itching to watch the finale, watch that first, and then watch this.
Yes.
Because, yeah, that was the conclusion, or the solution to the mystery was on theme. It fit.
Sure.
But it was also kind of like, oh, that was it? Yeah, like you said, kind of, alright. Well, girl power, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is the whole thing here, and,
that part wasn't the issue. The issue is like everything else.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like, whoa, okay, so the grand conspiracy was nothing. It was a little bit what you said. The mind was involved.
Sure.
It was not really anything that I said.
Not really, no.
I was really hoping for there to be a supernatural twist, but no. We'll get into that, though. But, no, the cleaning ladies killed them.
Basically, yeah.
But, by the way, I was watching this, like, on my lunch break, the end of it. How did they find out that she died?
That Annie died?
The cleaning ladies.
Well, she was found in the container. Everyone knew about it. They turned up a few days after that.
Yeah, but they didn't kill the guys until 6 years later. Because they found the hatch in the ground, but how did they connect the dots?
Oh yeah, Annie was killed 6 years earlier.
Yeah. Was it that they found out 6 years ago and waited until now, or? Because I remember them. You see the one lady who is cleaning the floor. She spills the soap water, and you sees the hatch. She flows down. But I don't, because I honestly kind of watched it like this, because I haven't been interested since episode 1, basically. How did they climb down there, and then they knew, aha, it was right. Because you see, that's kind of a wishy-washy explanation. The one lady who finds it, she, just like Danvers, takes one of the drill bits and sees, star-shaped puncture wound. Okay.
And she just and then there's no other tool that has
that was her. That's what happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they connected the dots because they all had, all the cleaning ladies work in all the important places, so they it's kind of like in every Asian movie where all the grandmas have all the intel. all the ajumas who sit and play mahjong has all the intel.
Yeah.
They like use their little connections or the what did oh no, what's Navarro's boyfriend's name?
Kavik?
Kavik. He called it something. The telephone.
Oh
Shit,
yeah,
call it.
I don't remember.
Inupiaq telephone, whatever.
Something
they call
like
it
that,
something.
yeah.
It's kind of like that. They're just like, everyone talked about details and then, it makes sense. I mean, they didn't deny it when they got there.
No,
they didn't
no.
ask them though, so I mean, it's a bit of an assumption, yes.
Yeah, it's a little far-fetched, but okay.
Yeah.
So then they just march them out there and like, no more violence against women. We're gonna kill you now.
Yeah. Basically.
Okay.
Well, they did, to be fair, they didn't kill them. They just made them walk naked out into the ice.
Yeah, sure.
And then left their clothes there for them to be able to return. But I guess they still talked about the she that is the night, I guess.
Yeah, what is that about?
Me.
She. It was all a metaphor. Obviously, it was the capital H-E-R. No, yeah,
yes.
Right. Yeah, as
yes.
Lady Gaga
That's
says.
how you spell it.
Yeah. Well, her.
Yes.
It was a good Lady Gaga.
It's the night. It's the cold. It's life itself, kind of.
Yeah. But that's also like that's such a
cop out.
Such a bullshit like left turn, because the whole show we've been waiting for, she's awake. Like she, the one the mystery
witch,
surrounded
basically.
Annie Kotok.
Yeah.
Like no, it was the combined power of women.
It was also going crazy in the darkness, going crazy in the isolation.
Yeah, but
going crazy with guilt, I suppose, as well.
Since there's a connection between the scientists and Annie K.
Yeah,
she's awake, and it's such a red herring.
Yes. Yes.
Is there a noise? Can you hear that? Oh,
I hear a
buzz
buzz like a washing machine or something.
There was a weird ringing sound.
No,
Oh, whatever. It's gone now. Sorry.
It's her.
It's her. She's awake, and it shuts off. Yeah. Yeah. So they're.
It's a bit wishy-washy with the whole spirits bit.
Yeah.
I'm still annoyed about that part. I was like hoping at least they'd say, no, it's the water pollution that has made everyone go crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, it's in this case Inupiaq stories and legends, and paired with, the very long night that makes people go a little bit crazy. We don't see sunlight.
Yeah.
Can't really keep track of what time of day it is unless you're actually looking at a watch.
And then it is the Inupiaq's connection to their spirituality.
Yes.
That saved them.
Basically.
Which is also like, okay, like, and this is the big problem with the fact that this is a true detective story. Because now I think we can compare it to season 1.
Sure.
Because we have a full season of a show. And also a little bit with season 2, if you will. Have you finished season 2?
God, no.
Okay, yeah. I still haven't done it. I probably won't.
I think I added like one episode to
Okay.
and then I haven't gotten very far. I've seen maybe 3 in total.
But specifically then, season 1 is so, we've said this before, it is so character driven. Everything is character driven. And here, at the very end, they still won't tell us exactly why the characters are the way they are. We don't know more now than we did in the first episode. We presumed after the first little glimpses into Danvers' head that, there was a car accident. With
her son and
we
her
can guess that
husband.
her son died, and I guess then her husband or whatever he was. Okay.
Yeah.
And the big reveal here was there was a car accident that killed her son, and she's sad over it.
Yeah, because she feels like she couldn't save him. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Wow. We don't. What was the whole thing with Twist and Shout? Why was that in there? Was that just flavor? That she hated the song? But it also played during the flashbacks. They even played a creepy, like, spooky pop version of it in one of the credits. What was the point of the song?
It
came back in this episode.
And it's so unnecessary.
Yeah. What was the point of it?
They just wanted to have something for her to associate with her son so that they can use it to annoy her.
Yeah. And then
it's a silly little, like,
it's fluff.
Yes.
It's the shit you cut out of your story when you do a second draft. Like, it doesn't really fill any purpose, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, unless you would actually feel the purpose.
Well, not really that, it's called cutting off the fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have understood if it had served a purpose. If, I don't know, the killers had used that song to inspire them or something, whatever. Like, no. There was no connection to anything else other than her past.
And yet it wasn't even important to the story.
No.
And yet it kept coming back.
Yeah.
Same thing with the one-eyed polar bear.
Yeah.
What was that?
No idea.
Was that supposed to be... Because he had a one-eyed polar bear, stuffed polar bear.
Yeah.
So was that his spirit coming back as the real-life polar bear? What was the whole thing with I see you and she covered one eye? Did he lose an eye in the crash, or... What was the point of that?
There was no point.
No, exactly, that's what I mean. Then you trim it out of your script.
And
people are going to say, that's nitpicking. No, it's not. Not when you spend 6 hours on a story.
More.
More. Well, 6 hour-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just fill that with dumb shit then. Or someone say, well, then you have space to fill it with dumb shit. It's a 2-hour movie and it's cut out the fat. But then it shouldn't be 6 hours if you're just going to fill it with dumb shit and flavor.
Everything should... You can have dumb shit in it, but it should have a point to it. Like, it doesn't have to be the big thing, but it has to have some sort of connection to the main story and to the main plot.
Yeah.
It can't just be a little side note that they mention every now and then, but has absolutely nothing to do with the end result. Because the polar bear had nothing to do with the end result.
No, yeah. It
wasn't the polar bear who killed Annie Kay down in the caves, or chased the men out onto the ice.
There wasn't the polar bear that died the day Danvers' kid died. There's the polar bear. There was nothing. It was nothing.
Exactly.
Another thing. What was the point of Leah and her girlfriend, whatever her name was?
Cherry.
Cherry, right. What was the point of that plot thread?
Oh, that was only to have Leia have some sort of a development, I suppose, because she, in the end, realized that the people who actually care about me is Liz. She cares for me. Even though she doesn't show it very well, she does.
How did you come to that resolution?
Because she did come back. She went over to Peter and Kayla's house and, like, just come home, please. That was her showing that she cared. Basically. Okay. And then Leia go, okay, sure, I'll spend New Year's Eve with you. But then she wasn't there. Yeah. Then we saw Leia and realized that, oh, just come home, I need you, kind of thing. That was a very, very shallow and very plain development, but that was the only thing there was to it. She realized that, oh, Liz actually cares. They don't show it properly enough, because we don't see them having a moment.
Yeah.
We only see Leia, I guess, realize it in the end, but there's no point to that either, to be honest. Leia in general had no point to the story.
No, exactly.
She was basically just an obstacle.
Yeah.
And I guess she brought... she put what was the lady's name for Silver Sky Mine, whatever? And Danvers in the same room at one point, but never talking about the actual issue.
Yeah.
So, no, she was basically just an annoyance, an extra.
Yeah.
Same with Peter and his girlfriend's whole storyline. Very
Yeah.
unnecessary. Kavik and Navarro, very unnecessary.
Yeah, the whole thing with him kind of feeling like the real true detective in this show. Then in the end, he's not there. He's not there. He's taking care of the garbage, basically. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, so did he grow as a cop, or
He became just like Navarro and Danvers because he had to cover up a murder.
was that a good thing?
No,
No,
not
yeah.
really. But maybe that is how he became a true detective, because they are a true detective. Thing is, they didn't feel very detective-esque towards the end. Like the last 2 episodes, everything they did was basically out of uniform.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't detective work. It was just, screw this, we're gonna solve this even though we're not allowed to.
Or the fact that in the end they find the killer of NK. They also find the first thing, actually. They find the killers, so to speak, of the Salal Station researchers, and they don't arrest them.
Yep.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, I get it. It's all like, yes, you know, it's a us ladies need to stick together moment. That's what it is.
Sure.
Fine, but the whole thing.
It's also
was,
like the cleaning ladies. They kind of like.
They were like, "What are you gonna do?" Basically, There's
too.
more of us than you. Yeah.
Sure, but they took care of the original issue, which was the fact that the Salal Station had fortified reports to make it,
Falsified.
Reports so that the water wasn't polluted.
Yeah.
So they took care of the polluted water issue indirectly, but they didn't do it properly. It's still. It's just dumb, really.
Yeah, that's what that's what this was. It was dumb.
Yeah.
It wasn't clever anywhere.
No.
And also
it felt more like a Nancy Drew kind of solving of a mystery than like True Detectives.
Yeah, and also how they every time they brought up the fact that they had found a bacteria, which was basically the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
There were all the times that were brought up, it was kind of brushed past, like, oh, okay, whatever. And here they said, like when he said, like, it was the runoff from the mine that helped us to dig much faster, like it was saving us years to get to the bacteria or whatever it was. And they said, yeah, but it failed. So was it worth killing? But no, it wasn't failing. We had results. We were making progress.
And if we had actually finished, Anarchy wouldn't have died in vain.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, so are we not going to talk about this? Are we not going to talk about the research into solving like cancer and aging? No, because they killed a woman.
Because they
I know that's
town.
It's indefensible to kill someone unless it's self-defense. Indefensible. But at the same time, there's the whole, what do you call it?
It's the moral question of one versus the one versus the many.
They killed one lady, but they could potentially save hundreds of millions, maybe billions of lives.
For all eternity.
But no, we can't have more men killing women. And that's, yes, I understand that, but it's a very emotional response, which I understand, but if we take one minuscule step back, I'm not excusing what they did, but just look at the situation. Could we have maybe done something?
We're running the risk of sounding
misogynist?
No, more racist almost.
Okay.
Because the Inupiaq people were there before, and we will be here after, or whatever they chanted when they the mine.
And because of all the pollution, they were hurting more people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the whole issue here is that they had found a spot to find this specific bacteria in the whatever pre-dawn Earth.
Yeah, the bacteria was there first. If you want to be super picky about it.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
And to find it would have taken way too long unless they had the pollution to warm up the ice to make it easier to drill.
Yeah.
But But unfortunately, they didn't explain that to people so that they could, like, I don't know, maybe decide to move a little bit further. So they
Yeah,
wouldn't
exactly.
Get
Imagine if
poisoned by the water.
Yeah, imagine
if they explained this and went,
Yeah.
you know what? If you sacrifice your homes, just relocate them. It's the specific ground you're on that is going to be poisoned. So if you just move like 2 miles to the left,
Yeah, because it obviously didn't affect the whole town. Once again, Danvers never had a problem with water.
No, the outer, like the ones who didn't live as close to the mine weren't at risk.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine if once again we've mentioned this before, and it's one of my favorite moments of this podcast. It's from our discussion 2 years ago, I think. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh.
Imagine if they would have just talked to each other. Imagine if the researchers was like, we have made the scientific discovery
that will cure
of a millennia.
Everything.
Yeah, it's the greatest scientific discovery of all time. But it is difficult to get to because it's so deep into the ice.
We know how.
We know how, but also the whole thing like, the runoff, the bad stuff from the plant made it easier to drill. Yeah. How about you actually talk to Silver Sky, whatever they were called, or talk to the Tuttle Corporation who owned the whole thing. They were funding them, and said, and actually made a plea to the town of whatever it was called.
Ennis,
right. And said, like, hey, Tuttle guys, buy the whole town. Give us free reign here. I understand it's a lot of money and people are going to get upset, but if we can relocate them in a good way, and people are going to say, well, that's not how capitalism works. No, I know, but listen.
And also people are going to say that it's their land, they were there first, yada yada. Yeah, but sometimes you need to sacrifice for the greater good.
Yeah.
We don't have that like sentimental attachment to any piece of land, so we don't really understand that. But at the same time, if you are informed that you moving not too far away could save the entire humanity from certain diseases or from everything, basically, maybe you could sacrifice your ancestors' land. Not like destroying it completely.
And it's not even that, because they're not drilling where they live. They're just drilling in the ice. It's just that we need
You're just not going to be able to live on it for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe in the future when they're done, they can like clarify it all or whatever, clean it up, and then you can move back. Who knows?
And then you can add like this to your Inupiaq heritage that you helped save humanity. Your land gave us what we needed to defeat some of the worst diseases in history.
Hell, maybe it's your ancestors who put that bacteria in the ice.
And just the Tuttle Foundation would say like, no, it's too much money. We'll just keep killing the natives because we are racist and we don't give a fuck. But then it's like, you spend some more money, and then you are the sole owners of a cure-all.
Yeah.
Imagine
the money you can make from that.
Imagine the money you can make off of that. If you want to look at it super crass like that. Yes. We can save the world, and you can make a ton of money. Just help us do this the right way.
Yeah.
Instead, nothing! No, we don't have it! And a bunch of people died unnecessarily. Instead of a win-win, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Because they had to... the last thing we see is because, Danvers leaked, or Mr. Navarro, no.
Navarro probably
leaked the video of Clark revealing everything.
Yeah.
So now the Silver Sky Mine is shut down. Salal is shut down. Oh, what great scientific strides we made. Thank you. But at least, we got justice. Justice was served.
For
Annie K.
Technically one person.
And the Inupiaq, sure.
They weren't... That's the thing, though. They weren't really wrong. They were just... polluted a little bit.
It was
okay,
worse
sure.
than that.
All the stillbirths are a bit terrible.
Yeah, they talked about birth defects and
sure,
health risks and things like that. But
I
know what you mean.
It's frustrating.
Very frustrating.
But I feel that we might be a little bit insensitive to it because we don't have that kind of heritage and attachment to ancestors and stuff.
Do you know why we don't have that? That's not fair, because that was literally beaten out of us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, when Christianity came to the north.
Oh, right, yeah.
They took our entire culture from us. We never had a chance to even like live it. So
yeah, that's
sure,
true.
yeah, we don't have it, but it was taken from us as well.
Yeah. That's true.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
I mean, assuming we come from like native Swedish Vikings, I suppose.
Well, as far back as we know, back to like the early 1700s at least, we have nothing but Swedish,
regular Swedish blood. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like before that, we didn't do any traveling, so
yeah, that's true.
If we look, we'll probably. I don't think we can. I don't know how far back we could actually find out, but
we're most likely Scandinavian at least.
Yeah, we're Scandinavian at least. Yeah. Still.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it, but it's also such a frustration. And like I said, and more character stuff. We never actually got to know what happened in wherever it was, Iraq, Afghanistan with Navarro.
Oh yeah, about Navarro.
We just saw that overturned Jeep.
Yeah, and in one of the earlier episodes, we see her friend.
Yeah. Okay, so she lost people in
face.
the war, and that's why she's angry, or
I guess.
Is that character development?
No, not really.
No, that's flavor.
Yeah, I mean it's such a worn out trait as well that
yeah,
obviously they're torn up from the war. Like,
yeah, everyone is basically.
Everyone is, and yeah, sure, the people who actually went to war are more affected, obviously.
Yeah.
But
that's what I mean when I say everyone. Everyone who was over there deal with some sort of psychological trauma.
Yeah.
No.
You have PTSD or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's not enough, in my opinion, because I guess it's paired
We're not
with her
minimizing
family
the
having
war trauma, but
no.
But for the
when you're
character,
trying to make a story.
Yeah. Why wasn't it? Why wasn't it ever like?
More.
Oh, is it because her friend died that she doesn't want to make any like romantic connections to Kavik, or is it because
is she afraid of losing everyone around her because of that?
What was it supposed to convey in her character?
Like, they show us enough of small things. Like, yeah, sure, she had the whole thing losing her parents, or her father was abusive. Her mother died from mental issues, as far as we understand, and the sister's having those same kind of mental issues.
Yeah.
And then paired with her experiencing that shit in the war, obviously it scarred her and made her who she is. But they're not outright showing it properly. They're not making her like make that connection herself. Yeah.
And I also just want to say, this is not a case of, well, it's show, don't tell. No, this is barely showing. You need to give us more than a flashback. And it needs to actually, like,
tell us something.
Yeah. So what is the connection between, running over an IED and losing your squad in Afghanistan and being angry and distant from everyone now? Where is the connection?
Yeah.
If you say, well, it's because her father was abusive, her mother died of suicide, and, instilled this kind of strange connection to spirituality that she had in them, sure. I'll buy that. Why she's kind of torn between, being spiritual and, having her whatever her name was.
Oh yeah, that was way too long. Morning Sun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they translated it.
I'll buy that aspect, but what was the whole thing with the Jeep? What was the whole thing with the thing? The military thing? What was the point of that? Cut that shit out. You didn't need it.
Yeah, because she always went back to that moment.
Yeah.
But they never, fully showed us what happened in that moment.
I'm just thinking now, are they implying that it's a moment where you were kind of closest to death, and that's where you come back to that, and that's where your connection to the afterlife is?
Yes, that's what they're trying to say, specifically.
That's why Danvers is remembering the crash as well? Because she was
Doesn't
in
work
the
the same
car.
with it doesn't make the same sense with Danvers because as far as I understand, Danvers was not in the car.
Oh, okay.
Because the way she explained it in the last episode was like, I wonder if he was like scared. I wonder if he was looking for me. I wonder if he was calling out for me. So she was not on site when it happened.
No.
Because then she would have at least heard him call out for her, or like she wouldn't have to wonder too much because she would have known a little bit.
Yeah.
As it is now, she obviously got told and she turned up and then she walked on all the glass. That's her connection.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But Navarro, yes, that is when she was almost dead, and that's her almost, that's how she sees
That's her connection.
Testrals in
it's
Harry Potter.
It's her death stranding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that is when she obviously manages to make a connection to her mother and finds out her name some magical way.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, that was pure magic.
Yeah.
And her mother never told her the name, so how could she just all of a sudden hear it in her head when she is passing out or
It's
whatever?
the same way Travis Cole told Gogano lady, whatever her name was, the old teacher, where the bodies were. Because ghosts talk to people. And this is full of ghosts, as they say.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Which is such a fucking excuse to hide Navarro in the end, but still. Yeah.
That whole part is still not... again, because we never get told that, yes, there is like a proper magical connection, because basically everything else was explained away.
Yeah. But
why did Rose Agonal all of a sudden have this spiritual connection? Why did
she was
Mrs. Dursley?
she was there. She was open to it.
She wasn't even like, because they kept making it sound like it's always the Inupiaq people who have that connection, but she's not Inupiaq.
No. Well, Danvers saw it too a little bit.
Yeah, I guess she did.
Why
did Navarro's necklace or Navarro's mother's necklace turn up in Danvers' hair?
Yeah, they really shoehorned in, by the way, one of the greatest lines of the first season, time is a flat circle.
Yes.
They shoehorned in that in the worst possible way into this.
Yeah.
Like, time is a flat circle and we're stuck in it. Like, that's not the point. I mean, that's the point, but come on. Are you just going to say that? And then they kept seeing things happening again. Like, she saw the mark from the tongue. The necklace, the hubcap. Navarro or Danvers saw Clark standing there as she did 6 days ago, or whatever it was, 14 days ago.
Navarro saw it as in the video.
Yeah. So they were, like, stuck in a time loop. But what was the point of that?
They made it seem like Clark had been stuck in a time loop.
Yeah.
Since Annie K died.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's weird that they put 6 years in between Annie K's murder and the Salal scientists dying. Because it feels like it would have been something that they would have reacted to like a month later. Not 6 years later. It feels it's such a weird and unnecessary time gap to have.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I don't think it matters in the end how long it is.
No, it doesn't. It just felt so unnecessary.
Yeah, it could have been 6 months.
Because then it was so detached, everything.
Yeah, sure, I'll buy that. But that's also makes it more creepy that she's awake.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They did allude again to that he made, like you wanted it to be, that he wanted to try and bring her back a little bit. But the way he said it, when it's like, oh, her death wouldn't have been he didn't say in vain. He said something else.
I don't know.
Like he was like, maybe I can try and bring her back, because he had made an effigy of her.
Yeah, what was the whole thing with that? Was he just that into her? Dude,
he
that's
missed
unhealthy.
Yeah. He was lonely or something. I don't know. But it's very yucky.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very anticlimactic the way they decided to end it all. Hell, the best storyline of all of this and the best part of this entire thing was the second to last episode with Pryor and Pryor in the shootout. Really.
Yeah, that was a good episode. It was a fun episode.
the best moment.
And also,
that was the first time we had like proper reactions out of people, and we got a proper erkännande. What's the word?
Admittance?
Confession.
Yeah, sorry.
Out of Hank.
Yeah.
Like he was the one who cut out the tongue, I suppose.
Yeah, to make it look like, the miner said, "Oh, you're a squealer, so we're gonna cut out your tongue,
too
bitch."
much. But how did it end up in the state?
Yeah. Navarro or someone asks the cleaning lady that, and she's like, "Oh, that's not part of our story. We don't know."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Did
Clark
Hank
say no?
feel guilty all of a sudden?
Because he said he didn't cut it out.
It?
But why would he keep a tongue
sense.
for 6 years?
How did he keep it so fresh?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense because it doesn't add up to his character at all. Because throughout this all of this, he just wanted Danvers' job.
Yeah.
Putting the tongue there wouldn't have given him the job.
I'm gonna see if there's some autist on the internet just like, "I found it out. I read it." True.
Oh, there's obviously videos on it already. I didn't even look at him this time, to be honest.
Right. Country.
I figured out that the episode was out because I accidentally saw the thumbnail for Think Tank or whatever they're called. Having ending explained in the title. It's like, how do you have the ending already? This isn't out yet, is it? It's like, oh shit, it is.
Okay, True Detective.
Also, the whole spiral shit.
Yeah, but we found out that was a symbol for the hunt or something.
Yeah, but did you realize that when they looked at the actual skeleton in the ice, it wasn't just one fish?
Oh yeah,
a bunch of little fishies.
Yeah,
following it in that spiral.
Well, that's how they
strange.
hunt the fish or something. I don't know. That's whatever.
Still felt a little
dumb.
bit weird.
Yeah, I know.
The whole spiral and the whole connection to season 1 was completely unnecessary. They could have picked the fucking triangle instead.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Hold on. I'll just pick the first one, because there was the one that says, the tongue. So I'm going to see if anyone mentions the tongue. Tongue. Here, True Detective Night Counter finale. Women and tongues inherit the earth. Okay, there's 5 mentions of tongues. Clark is adamant about him and his colleagues not being the ones to cut out Annie's tongue. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. Where's next tongue? Here. Who left... There's we see. Who left Annie's tongue at Salal? B claims that she has no idea. Yeah, and all the women party ways. Obviously, in True Detective style, there are details left in the shadows and questions that don't have easy answers. The biggest one of those would be the mystery behind Annie's tongue. For my money, so this is the person who wrote it, whoever that is, Lund cut it out after she died. So this is just completely fan theory.
Fabricated. Yeah.
This is just what I think happened. Lund cut it out after she died, realizing that the indents on it were indicative of the fishing line that Ennis native population works with. Yeah?
Yeah,
often at nomad camps like the one Oliver Takak lived in. Any investigator could have traced it back to Oliver. Right, if you'll recall Oliver Tagak, the guy with the engineer guy who disappeared.
Sure.
If you recall, Danvers speculated that Oliver provided the generators to Salal and therefore to their ice cave. Had Annie been found with her tongue, maybe the pieces would have come together much faster. What?
No, that makes
they already knew she was a native woman.
She was exactly. They knew.
Or because she lived in a nomad camp. No,
that was the
come
first
on.
Thing, the first thing Navarro said when they found the tongue was like, "Is it Annie's?"
Yeah.
Because Annie was missing a tongue. Like, who else would it...
Yeah, why... Yeah, it's just...
That is
who wrote this?
Baloney.
Who wrote this? Sir, ma'am, who wrote this? Coleman Spildy, entertainment critic. Hey, Coleman. That's silly.
That makes no sense. It makes more sense than that Hank would do it for some stupid reason.
Yeah, like cutting it out, and then planting it in Salal just makes a direct connection. Like, how many victims with cut out tongues do we have? Oh, 1! Yeah. That's the most...
Or even if they had a few more, it wouldn't take long to, like, figure it out. Because they did, Danvers wanted to make sure. So it's like, okay, how many in Nupiaq women do we have on ice? missing a tongue.
Yeah, that are missing a tongue. Exactly.
As if they had maybe a couple more, but still.
Then he writes, sorry, I'm not just going to read his, but but apart from theories, which will always boggle the mind if you think too hard about them, yeah, especially when the show writers don't tell us, what I think was the strongest part of Night Country was its tale of collective good and justice. Ooh, yes, that mob justice, we love that. This season's thematic content paralleled the first season's nicely by its end, asking questions about the existence of a greater good to be able to fight evil.
No. What?
No, that's not exactly what they mean. They mean not a collective good, or a greater good. They mean, there's, good and bad.
Sure.
There are forces of good and evil.
Yeah, talk about that with the night sky stuff in the first season.
The point is that you can't lose yourself completely to the darkness. Like, if there's a sliver of hope in you, you have to hold on to it. Not that,
but what does that have to do with this?
Yeah, not that, we need to come together to fight evil. No, it's when all hope is lost, that's when you have to reach for whatever you can. That wasn't really what this was.
No, this was the people can decide the justice for whatever.
Yeah, which is sure, I'll buy that, but don't connect that to the end of season 1. It's not the same kind of good. Different. And
also, it's very much less poetic, I suppose, than the first season.
Yeah,
and
we'll talk more about that. Oh, jeez.
This
is actually the end of his little. I'll just read the end of it. Whatever.
Sure.
Clark tells Danvers and Navarro that time is a flat circle and we're all stuck in it. Oof. Echoes Rust Cole's famous music from season 1. In the end, Rust, who also lost a child, just like Danvers, there's a big connection there, was plagued by the eternal struggle between light and dark. By the end of season 1, the perpetually pessimistic Rust turned a corner. Yeah, exactly. Believing that trying to snuff out forces who do wicked deeds is a noble fight, even if you can't reach the broader web of perpetrators. Night Country is an expansion of that message, one that encourages action from those who believe in virtue and justice, outside of the traditional policing system. It was not a perfect season, but its place in the series makes it a fascinating study for fans to continue pondering long after its end. I see what he means.
Difference is
that, like, the justice by any means, but
no, but they're talking about it. Would have if the bad guys in season 4 had been the same kind of bad guys as in season 1. Yes.
Yeah. The
problem is, the scientists were not really bad guys.
Yeah, they were good guys who made a bad thing.
They even didn't do a bad thing per se.
They did a bad thing.
They did a bad thing to reach a good end.
Sure, but it was still a bad thing.
Sure.
Yeah,
the murder and all is obviously a bad thing, but the whole why they were poisoning the town and all that, like we said before, it's not a bad thing per se. It's
means to an end.
Means to an end. Yeah, that's the word.
But
sometimes
and then you also have to ask yourself, does the end justify the means? In this case,
yes. In this case, yes,
it does.
You have to. Sometimes, when it comes to certain scientific explorations and results, yes, you need to sacrifice the few to save the many.
Problem is, they did it in the wrong way.
Yes,
they should have been upfront about it.
They could have approached this in a much better way.
Which is why I would call this a cop-out. Like,
yes,
that was your big thing that people didn't want to talk about it.
Comparing them to the Tuttle family, not the company. I don't care about the company.
You know, the
family, the
child trafficking, child murdering cultists.
Yeah,
no, that's pure
there was
evil.
No redeeming quality with the Tuttle family. They were inbred, disgusting creatures that like killed everyone.
And then they were kind of trying to. Then you know. They tried to sweep it under the rug, but there was one crazy person left that kept doing it. That's basically what it was. At some point, they just stopped. Well, not really, but they weren't as overt about it. But then there was that one guy, the spaghetti monster.
I mean, they had nothing redeeming about themselves, really, because they started schools to be able to kidnap children and hurt them.
And the fact that they also, if you want to talk about the whole. Because this one is all about how spirituality is ultimately a good thing. And the first season, yes,
they demonized spirituality in the first season.
No, not spirituality. However, religion.
Oh, sure,
because
religion,
in the end, there, he does see the good in it, and he sees like the spirits and whatever. But it is the bad people are the ones who prey upon people's spirituality.
Yeah.
What
the Tuttle family doing all the church stuff.
Yeah, which is infinitely more complex than this, I think.
Yeah.
And if you want to draw,
the only complexity, I guess, here is the moral dilemma of sacrificing the few to save the many.
But for the characters involved, there was no dilemma. Oh, they killed her? Well, we're gonna kill them.
Yeah. Because that's the only character we got from Navarro, I guess, and Danvers. They were so willing to kill someone who had wronged people in general. They were so they took it so lightly, just killing the Wheeler dude, for example.
I'm okay with that because he was also, I would say, he's pure evil. That's just a guy who just beats and eventually kills his girlfriend over and over again.
Sure. He deserved it, obviously. But the way it fit in with the theme of them, it's so easy just to kill a bad person. It shouldn't be that easy just to kill.
No, yeah, sure, you're right about that. Yes, definitely.
And you can't have that be like, oh, that's why they do it now. It was so easy to kill him. It's as easy to shoot. It would have been as easy to shoot Clark.
Yeah.
It was that easy to make all the other scientists go out on the ice and kill themselves, basically. They're making it too light.
Yeah. If you want to draw comparisons to the first season, then out of the two True Detectives of that show, Rust and Marty.
Rusty and Marty.
Damn it! The one who keeps acting on his emotions and suffers from it is Marty.
Yes.
And maybe, as a detective, we need to, in certain cases, certain times, we need to maybe take a step back from our emotions and let logic rule.
Your personal self from your professional self.
Yeah, which he had a problem doing. That's why in the end, all he has is the case. He doesn't technically even have his job anymore. He's a fucking washed up private detective or security guy, whatever.
PA.
Yeah, he doesn't have his family anymore. He doesn't have anything. He lost all that because he let his emotions rule him. So
I will give you that the Night Country had as a total, it had an interesting setting.
Sure. Yes.
Because that part worked very well. I liked the whole, including the natives and their legends and all that, and trying to make the mystery of it all that way. But the actual mystery, and then the actual characters, and then, of course, in the end, the actual solution to it all, was very meh.
Yeah, and this, you know what this was? And that's what I said that from the beginning. If this was not called True Detective, I would say, it's a decent, detective show, whatever. It's like any other fucking police procedural with a more spiritual connection, whatever. Okay.
I would have been even excused the whole fewer versus more for
because
better.
That would have been the theme of this show.
Exactly. You would have been able to see it detached and specifically just watch it from their point of view. You wouldn't be able to. I mean, I still would have said that's not the right way to do it, because I am always going to say more save the many over the few.
Yes.
That is just how I feel personally. I'm sorry, but if it comes down to the classic train one, if you let them. If you can derail the train to save the one person tied to the tracks, or you can let the train run over the person on the tracks and save the entire train. I'm sorry, but the person on the tracks, you can die. I don't care who you are.
But because people always think would it be easier to kill one person than several persons? I don't know. Maybe more people than I think about this, but I just want to ask you: Do you ever think people reason the way that, well, if I don't touch it at all, more people die? But I wasn't. I've
heard
guilty.
People use that logic because I didn't actively choose anything, but no, you inactively chose to kill 100 people instead of one.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have
I don't think that would be
opportunity
easier
to save 100,
by killing one.
Wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. Would it
instead of just turning
could
around
you just
and
say
pretending
like,
you
no,
didn't know?
not my problem? But it is.
Could you though?
You are, yeah.
Because deep down inside, you know that you could have saved those 100 people if you just touched that button or switch or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to that kind of situation where you see the one and you see the many.
No.
Obviously, if you see just the one, you don't know it's gonna hurt the many. You're gonna save the one.
Yeah. Although, now we're gonna talk philosophy a little bit, because you know how, especially around 2020, but especially around then, there was the whole discussion about around Black Lives Matter and all the protests. It was the whole thing like, just saying, well, I'm not racist is not enough. You have to actively combat racism when you see it. Otherwise, you're a part of the problem. Just saying, well, I'm not racist, I wash my hands of this, is that the same as saying, well, I don't have to kill one person, or it's not my fault that 100 persons died because I didn't touch it?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because I thought of that now, like, because
like I'm not gonna say that everyone needs to like go out and actively walk in the protests and fight cops or whatever.
Yeah.
But like if you see injustice or you hear people talking about it very casually and not understanding what they're saying is wrong, maybe you could, enlighten them, or at least if it's one
point it
person,
out. Yeah. Like, hey, dude.
Like we don't use those kinds of words anymore, and honestly, consider this. Like you can't really say that because it's not really like it's not fair.
Yeah. What's it to you?
And if you see the one person, if it's like two people hitting one guy, then you can join the one guy and save him. Yeah. Maybe.
Unless he's a child rapist. Then you join in the beating.
No. You don't. You call the cops.
Sure.
And hope that they're good cops. You should also consider not having to put yourself in danger, obviously.
Yeah.
Because if it's me versus like a 6 foot tall muscle dude.
Yeah.
I have no chance.
Hey, that's racist.
Yeah, and he goes, bye.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, and I'm no longer here, and I can't fight other racists then. No. So you need to consider
pick your battles.
Situation, obviously. No. But
I just thought of it right now. So
you should. No, you can't just say, "Hey, I'm not a racist. I've got black friends." No, I'm sorry, that doesn't count.
You can still be racist.
At least like vote for the right people in the next election, then, or like support certain funds with money, if you can.
Yeah.
Like do something.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the moral story of this, I guess. I don't. But that's the thing, though. This entire season had vibes, but no context. And what little context it had, it kind of butchered by going, yeah, whatever. We can kill the bad guys because we think they're bad. And it just ruined it all for me.
Yeah.
You are zoned out.
No, I'm reading. They're trying to say the big moment in this, where Danvers realizes that there is more to this, the whole thing. Because Navarro obviously becomes very spiritual towards the end.
Sure.
I don't know if I buy. Once again, I'm reading from Coleman Spildy's article.
You didn't give up on him?
No. Well, it's the one I have up. Whatever. Where was it? No.
You lost it?
Here. Danvers and Navarro take a break from their interrogation, only for the station's power to be cut in their absence. How did that happen? They return to their makeshift examination room and find that Clark is gone, now frozen outside in the snow. Yeah. With the ice storm raging outside, Danvers and Navarro bundle themselves in blankets and light a fire to try and keep warm in the rapidly declining temperature. Navarro tells her partner that she sees Danvers' dead son, Holden, trying to tell her something in visions. Danvers doesn't want to hear any of it, but Navarro insists there is more than this. There's so much more than just this, she says. It can be a comfort. Saying that, spirituality, you can talk to your son, But
if you believe it.
They're talking about it in such a literal way. Like, he's literally here. Like, no, he's there in spirit. I don't know. It was very heavy-handed. Anyway,
Yeah.
shut up, Danvers replies. You don't say his name. You don't know when he was trapped in the car. Was he scared? Was he hurt? Was he screaming, Mommy? Don't go, blah, blah, blah. I'll shoot your mouth off for your face, whatever. You leave my kid out of it or I'll rip you apart. I'm not merciful. You understand? I got no mercy left. Jodie Foster is remarkable in this scene. Sure. It may be her big moment in the finale, but it reflects a mother whose child has been ripped from the world beyond her control, reaching the end of her rope. She storms off and tries to go to sleep in one of the station dorm rooms, but regrets. He's just telling us what happens. The way she yelled at Navarro. When Danvers doubles back, Navarro's gone. She's gone to be caught on the ice. Danvers flees to search for her in the snow. A voice tells Navarro her Inupiaq name, connecting her to the greater force she has been trying to understand all season long. Looking for Navarro, Danvers falls through the ice in the frozen water, but is pulled up by Navarro just before her heart stops. Inside the station, trying to come back to life, Danvers can see Holden! She sees the car crash kill him and her husband. She sees his birthday and sees the tender moments when she still had love. She is at once filled with the warmth of an old life and no warmth at all. Oh. And asks Navarro what Holden said to her in the vision. He says, he sees you, Liz. Navarro responds. It's here where Navarro and Danvers finally accept that they are bound together by much more than they realize. The levels of pain and loss that they have felt give them a deeper understanding of one another. But it was not until they let themselves wade into the thick muck of grief that they could come to terms with their similarities. All right. Danvers thinks back to Clark holding the hatch in the bank. Oh, yeah.
It's still...
Okay, but that's still very, very, very heavy-handed, I think.
Yeah.
It's
very vague, to be honest, and still has nothing to do with anything. Doesn't explain, really, their actions throughout the entire series properly.
No.
Because all it is allowing them to grieve in the end. Like, sure,
but yeah, I can see, though,
they've been denying themselves?
But I can see, then, that, Rust is very pessimistic. He says he's a pessimist.
Yeah, but he knows why, and he can tell us why.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Like, it feels like Danvers, I guess more than Navarro.
She doesn't want to admit that this is why she's the way she is.
That she's sad because her son died. And like, of course people can hold on to that and like let that fester, and they become a curmudgeonly old fucking bitch like she was. But that is, we've seen that. So I'm not saying it's bad. I say, okay, yeah, I like those kind of characters. But once again, if we're going to compare it,
do it in a new way.
No, yeah, if we're going to compare it to season 1, because this is another season of the same show, having Rust explain, like, this is why I am the way I am. My son died.
Nah, my daughter.
Sorry. My daughter died. Like, I'm not. It's like I dealt with it. Like, but I also found out that there is nothing. That's why I am the way I am. But then to have that moment in the end, as he's almost dying, he sees that there is something else. By the way, that's exactly what this is. They're just repeating what happened in season 1.
Yeah.
But with a less interesting character.
Yes. I'm sorry, but did you realize that now?
Yeah, I realize that now. But what the fuck? It's the same thing!
No. Liz is Rust Cole, but in an older female version in Cold instead of Texas or wherever they are.
Yeah.
No, they're not in Texas. They're in Louisiana?
I think it's Louisiana, yeah.
Yeah. This is like an opposite version of him, but they have the same emotional damage.
Yeah.
It's just that's why it felt like a cop-out in the beginning. Because it's just they made too many connections to the first season, and they kind of made the first season.
But I was always thinking there was going to be something else to her, like we didn't discuss that. Why was she so racist? What was her reason for like hating the natives?
No, I still think it just has to do with her, which they don't tell us. But I'm still thinking it has to do with her, like it reminds her too much of her son and her husband that died. That's all it is.
Okay.
Leia is an everyday reminder of her lost husband.
But that's just racist. That's not like, well, she's sad. No, She's just racist.
Yeah, it's just not fair to Leia, first of all. She can't help it. And second of all, it's not like...
It's not fair to the Inupiaq. They didn't kill your son.
You can't be racist because of that. You don't have to like everything they do, and you don't have to spend time with them. But she does voluntarily show up at like the house of the mourning mother.
Yeah, because that's when her grief kind of shines through a little bit, I suppose.
Yes, the motherly feelings hits, I suppose. But it's, no, I'm sorry. She is not a fully developed character. They only pick and choose certain aspects and certain moments to put on her. They don't give her the full range.
And there we come back to it. Why the first season is so damn good, and why I think
because the characters are so fully developed, down to the core.
But how they came to be that fully realized. It's not just that it's always better writer, whatever. Yeah, I think he is.
Partially.
From what I've read his book, I've seen what he's written. He's a good writer when he wants to. But it also shows up in his work in season 2, which he wrote. The first season was something that he said he had been writing, like the ideas and his initial writing started like 10 years before the show premiered. He had the idea of the characters. He had the idea of the mystery and everything. And he spent 10 years whittling down that to those 8 episodes. Perfecting it. That's why the characters are so fucking great. Because he got rid of all the little things you don't need. Not just like getting rid of imperfections, but making them flawed, making them human.
Yeah, giving them the details you need.
Yeah.
All the fine lines.
And it took him like 10 years to do that. Then they gave him like a year and a half to make season 2. And that's when we got season 2.
Where he needs to start over.
Yeah.
New characters, new mystery, new everything.
And he wanted to write...
We just wanted to put the same name on it because brand name recognition and money.
So they wanted, he wanted to, of course, write complex characters again, but he had a 10th of the time to do it in.
And more characters to write.
Yes, which I don't understand why he made so many characters. That show is so full of characters.
Yeah. I only remember 3 of them. Well,
there's lots more,
but I don't know
as the show goes on.
One of them, I'm not sure if he's like the bad guy. what his deal is. I don't know.
Oh, Vince Vaughn? No,
yes.
He's not the bad guy.
So
season 2 is in a world of bad guys. The slightly less bad guys are the good guys, which I guess is True Detective.
Yeah, because they're all kind of weird and corrupt in some way.
Yeah. But those characters are also far from fully realized, which makes that very frustrating to watch. But either way, same thing with this. I'm sure Issa Lopez has had some time to write this, but I mean, not 10 years.
No.
Hold on, I gotta see.
It's like they approached her and went, "Hey, do you want to write the next season of True
That was.
Do you have like
that was literally it,
right? Yeah. Do you have any like anything you want to work on? It's like, yeah, I want to work on something cool, and I have this idea of Inupiaq people or Native Americans, I suppose, being involved in spirituality.
Yeah,
sure. But then I can't imagine there was more to it at first.
No. This is not like a perfect timeline, but let's see. Okay, so in 2019, which is directly, I guess, after the 3rd season, HBO president of programming explained that if Nick has an idea that he's excited about, we will talk about it, but not rushing into anything. And then in 2020,
Nick as in Nick
Pizzolatto, who wrote the first 2 seasons and was involved in the 3rd, I think.
I mean, he's a creator. He's always going to be credited as a creator, I think.
Yeah. In January 2020, Pizzolatto signed an overall production deal with Fox, putting into question his involvement in the potential 4th season. By the next year, so that's 2021, HBO began exploring ideas for a 4th season with other writers, including Lucia Puenzo and Sam Levinson. Ooh, that's the guy who wrote Euphoria, isn't it?
I think so.
Jeez. We're going to do True Detective, but they're going to be young detectives.
Oh, God.
No.
What was his name?
Sam Levinson.
Yeah, writer Euphoria.
Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Blois later said, there's something in the True Detective area, there's things we're feeling good about. In March 2022, HBO announced 4th season entered into development, which would carry a subtitle Night Country, blah, 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 blah. They just... Okay, yeah. They just unceremoniously mentioned her by name here, but she wasn't mentioned before. Lopez would write and direct and also executive produce the season alongside Barry Jenkins and Adele Romansky and Mark Seriak. Okay.
When did she start writing?
So March 2022 was when they announced it. And they had like I said, in 2021 they had other people do you have any ideas? So let's be generous and say 2021 they talked to Issa Lopez about writing a True Detective show.
Yeah. And sure, she might have had a starter idea, but it probably wasn't developed yet, so probably at least.
So in 2021, wow, okay.
So she had 2 years? Barely?
No, because filming began in November 2022.
Oh, so she had barely 1 year then.
And that's why the characters are the way they are. And then you're gonna say
maybe as soon as they finished season 1 and they realized what kind of a phenomenon it was, why didn't they just reach out to writers then and start hey, write a season for True Detective?
yeah.
Just start now and we'll air it when it's ready, kind of thing. Yeah. Or you have approximately 5 years. Get to it. Fine tune it. We want the same level of intricacy and detail and just fine stuff.
Yeah.
As season 1. Can you do that in 5 years? You get half the time, sure, but you have something to go off of.
Yeah.
You know what kind of quality you want. I guess it's not fair still, because
no, and I mean there are
Nick
Pizzolatto
had this was his baby. This was his dream, I suppose. He's been working on it for so long. He didn't work on it with the plan of making it specifically this with HBO. He just made it because he wanted to make something with this story and these characters. Still, I don't know.
Still.
Overall, I think we've been blabbing on for so long now.
I don't even know how long we've been talking.
Over an hour.
Yeah. But I also just want to say that, of course, you can write good characters in a year,
Sure.
But I really think you need to focus more than on the characters. Because we see that time and time again in TV shows, they use these tropes, and they don't really focus on the characters. And going back to, if this wasn't called True Detective, I wouldn't be as harsh on it.
No.
Because this character carries with it the weight of the first season, which is probably the greatest season of television ever made.
Specifically when it comes to detectives.
Shows. Definitely there, yeah. But arguably, top 5 greatest seasons of television ever.
Going back a little bit to our first episode on this, we mentioned a few other random shows.
Yeah.
There are detective shows, and specifically, I watched Mayor of Easttown or Kingstown or whatever.
Mayor of Easttown, yeah. Which I realized I'd only watched half an episode of.
Sure, but it wasn't. That's the thing, though, because it's a standalone. You have nothing to compare it to, so it was actually a good story. You actually wanted to watch it. Yeah. Had it been called, for example, True Detective,
Mayor of Easttown.
No, or whatever. Yeah. I was just no, this is not it. Yeah, because it was character-wise, it was nothing like Marty and Rust, specifically Rust, obviously. Yeah. But the storyline was good. And it worked because it was on its own.
Yeah.
This would have worked. Night Country would have been a great show on its own.
Yeah. Yeah, they really shot themselves in the foot by calling it True Detective.
Yeah.
But
I guess
also, would people have watched if it wasn't called True Detective?
No, that's the thing though. Unfortunately, even if they called it just Night Country and it was like HBO's new cop show, everyone would have compared it to True Detective season 1.
You could have said like Academy Award winner Jodie Foster in Night Country. Really sell it on Jodie Foster because she's the big name in this, you know.
Yes, obviously. They could have done so much to distance it. They didn't even have to like call it a cop show. They could have just like called it a
mystery,
fantasy or magical mystery or something.
Compare it more to like Twin Peaks, since you're gonna have like weird, spiritual mystery things.
The way they marketed it could have made it so much further from season 1 if they had made it a separate entity. No. It's not enough to put HBO original on it, because that's not a selling point anymore, is it? Even though HBO has produced like some of the greatest series in the last few years.
Yeah, I mean they make the best shows. They just do.
Yes, quality wise. Yeah, 100%.
Did you? No, you don't really watch Twitter, do you?
No, I deleted that app.
Because I'll bring it up here. Actually, it's easier to do it on a computer. Because of course there was a lot of people like, well, I for one loved the finale. Which
I in and of itself, I loved the whole scene when you saw all the cleaning ladies come in there with guns and chasing the men out into the ice. That was absolutely fantastic.
Sure. No, yeah, I agree.
But as the result of the entire season, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
That scene as in a vacuum, yes, loved it.
Yeah,
it reminded me of this very short middle of the season scene from a new Netflix show. What is it called? The Brother's Son or something? Like triad mafia brothers from Taiwan who end up in LA, something. They have this one scene where their mother has been kidnapped by some new mafia dudes. And the only way they figured they could like get their mom out of there without getting harmed was bringing all their ajumas with them. So like 20 old ladies from the mahjong tables come in and just go, tuck in your shirt and put that away. How are you being so mean to an old lady? And they just grab her. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. But they made it more fun. This one was more action, I guess.
Yeah. I saw this one, which was the first one I saw, from Barbara Crampton. Illustrious actress from such movies as Reanimator and From Beyond. She's awesome. Anyway, love this season of True Detective. Mysterious, creepy, heart-wrenching. All the characters had backstories that weave beautifully into the narrative. Performances were superb. Congrats, Isa Lopez et al. So that was, very nice.
Yeah.
Not, but then you have stuff like this. There's a certain type of person that's very angry and triggered by the new season of #TrueDetective and will never admit that it was pretty good season and great finale. It's pretty obvious they hate the show because it has female leads and showrunner. Yeah, some people are like, but that their tweets,
that's always going to be the case.
Yeah, of course. Always.
There's always going to be idiots and misogynists.
Misogynists.
Yeah, misogynistic pigs was the word I was
But it's tweets like this, and though he does specify there's certain type of people, but that is now going to go, you can use that as saying, oh, you didn't like the show? You hate women. No, that's not why I didn't like the show.
You need to listen to other people's opinions, not just go for the ones who are, cliquey.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, yeah, sure, if you listen to our episode now and you cut out some of what we said, yes, we're going to sound like we don't like women, even though I am a woman.
That's
not the point of what we said, though, because if you listen to the whole entire discussion, it has nothing to do with the fact that they are all women. It's just that the characters are underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Would have been just as bad if they were men.
Okay, everyone on my TL timeline enjoyed True Detective, so I know I'm following the right people. Oh. Don't you want a difference of opinion? Blending the line between supernatural horror and detective fiction, this season showed us that sometimes the real horror lies in the living, and that hope sometimes comes from the dead. That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Hope comes from the dead?
Come from the dead. You can feel comfort in knowing that your family is all around you, even though they're dead, I suppose.
That's not coming from the dead. That's that they live on in us.
Exactly.
That was like, someone actually got... I wonder if I'm going to have to edit this in now, but one of the first ones I saw was True Detective season finale, and then it's just the GIF from you haven't seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I've probably seen the GIF though.
Oh, it's the one where Frank points up at the bridge and says, "Suicide is badass."
Yeah.
That's basically it. Like, no, there's more out there. We can be with our loved ones if we die. No.
If we walk onto the ice and
don't do
die.
that. Don't do that. Don't kill yourself. See if anyone else that's still here. Yeah, this is pretty good. True Detective shouldn't make new seasons. They should just replay season 1 every 3 to 4 years. It's not their fault season 1 was the perfect series. Exactly. You're never gonna live up to the first season. Sorry.
No.
Oh, God. And then a lot of people saying, like, what is going on? I didn't get it. Which I understand.
Because it's not...
Because there's so much...
it's not...
There's so much set up that doesn't pay off.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we get the big mysteries explained, but they have too many small ones that aren't really properly closed out.
Yeah. And then... And here comes the other side of the misogynist coin. Here comes the tweets from people who are like this one. Oh, shame about those scientists in that avalanche, right? And then a gif of a lady going, oh, wink, wink. It's like, oh, yeah, we're just going to brush over the fact that they killed 8 people in cold blood. Because they didn't actually do it. They just put them out on the ice without clothes at gunpoint. That's not murder.
And stood there until they were too afraid to return.
Or like stuff like this. This is when I start realizing, maybe Twitter's full of morons. There's
just like Letterboxd reviews.
I know, but it's so inflammatory. It's a picture of John Wick as he is sledgehammering the floor to pick up his guns in the first movie. And it says, me preparing to be a huge defender of True Detective Night Country to all the haters for the rest of my life. Jesus Christ, it's a TV show.
It's the Renee Rapp, please step on me.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I see. Oh, here's another one. This is the last one. Whatever.
Yes, please.
I see a lot of male fans are pissed about this season of True Detective. I'm pretty sure the female fans are pissed as well.
Hi.
And then the first response is, especially white men. Oh, and then the next answer, I see a lot of female fans sharing the same sentiment. So, bad TV is bad TV. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Thank you.
Twitter.
Thank you. Thank you, Twitter.
Thank you, Twitter, for that very nuanced and incisive take on the show. Best ever! Sucked ass! Somewhere in the middle, actually. They didn't suck ass. It just,
No.
sniffed at it a little bit.
So far, I'll tell you this much. I had much more fun watching season 4 than I have had trying to watch season 2. Because season 2 is just all over the place.
Season 2 starts so fucking bad, yeah. It does get a little bit better, but...
Yeah, but you have to get through like 4 episodes before it gets better.
Yeah. I don't know which one is worse.
I'm barely making my way through 3.
Yeah, I haven't started watching 3 yet. I'll probably do that now.
No, like 3 episodes.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm stuck on episode 3, I think.
Yeah. I would say this, though. This rivals season 2 for worst season. That's harsh.
We'll have to watch season 3 first.
Yes. But I've heard a lot of good about that one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that we're gonna wrap it up.
Maybe we should, power through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it for today. This is it for
now.
For the TV cast for now, for this specific
show.
Yeah, for this specific show. At least for the season of this show. We might do season 1, 2, and 3.
We'll see.
If we feel like it.
The only thing we know,
or unless maybe our patrons make us.
Oh yeah, exactly. If you want to force us to talk about more TV shows, check us out on patreon.com/DomeMakeAScene, where you can make requests and we have to abide by them.
We have to do them eventually.
Yeah. The only thing that is for certain though, other than your requests will be heard, is that we're gonna do House of the Dragon season 2 when that comes out, which is this year, right?
I think so.
Oh no!
That's what it says. Jesus Christ! It's blinking outside.
Please don't make it be like 2025. No!
No, it said 24 before, but they might have pushed it. I don't know if and why they would have, but
House of the Dragon, American fantasy TV series. The second season is set to premiere in mid-2024.
Yes, this summer, hopefully then.
Yeah. Thank fuck. Only 8 episodes, though. Instead of 10 episodes like first season.
Yeah, so 2 episodes less, I suppose.
Anyway, that's the only thing we know for sure. We're going to do that then, I guess, later this year. Until then, who knows? Maybe we'll do the other seasons of True Detective. Maybe we'll do something else.
Yeah.
But you can always rest assured that we'll keep doing the spoiler cast every week. Yes. This week, I guess we're preparing for Dune Dune 2, which is going to be a special episode since that movie's coming out on a Monday.
Well, we get to see it on a Monday. We get to see it on a
Monday, yeah. So we're doing something for this weekend. Yeah, I don't know what.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, that's for later. And until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.